Hi, so we are here with Joshua Shapiro, who has been involved with crystal skulls since 1983 and has been a crystal explorer for over 40 years. He has devoted his life and resources to sharing this information with people all over the world. He has had the opportunity to privately visit with a number of well-known skulls, including the Mitchell Hedges skull. Very impressed by that. Joshua is the guardian of 30 personal skulls. He has spoken all over the world. He's written a number of books and co-founded the Center for Advancement of Humanity. So welcome, Joshua. I'm so excited to chat with you today.
Well, thank you for having me, Heather, and I look forward to having this first opportunity to speak to you about crystal skulls.
Yeah, this is awesome. I have to ask about the Mitchell Hedges skull. What was your experience with that? That's like a dream of mine to meet that skull.
Of course, I had several experiences with it, so it's hard to encapsulate it into a brief thing, but I'll do my best. Well, first thing that people need to understand, and I think I talk about this in the class that will be offered through Beyond Being Human, is that there is a living consciousness that works through skulls that become activated. And obviously, the Mitchell Hedges skull has a very strong energy around it. There was one time after the Indiana Jones film aired where I got together with the Guardian, Bill Holman. I went to his house and I was able to do like about a 20-minute meditation with the Mitchell Hedges skull. So the best way to illustrate what happened to me is to say what was the result of that 20-minute meditation. So I believe that after that, now this would be back when the Indiana Jones film came out, which I think was in 2008. I felt like it helped me to shift my vibrational frequency. So, because I'm an
Mm.
Aries, and some people have difficulty with me because I can be very intense, but I'm a peaceful Aries. I don't get upset so much. And I think the Mitchell Hedges skull had a lot to do with that to help me to be more peaceful and calm and not judgmental and be in the neutral. Being the neutral was very important. So I felt like it just kind of shifted my frequency of energy. And then, of course, I had three of my personal skulls with me that were with the Mitchell Hedges skull. And one of those I will be showing during our interview, Portal de Luz, Portal of Light. He was present. And then when Katrina was alive, she worked with me to bring Bill Holman, the guardian of the Mitchell Hedges skull, to the Seattle area. And there was one time where Portal de Luz was like, they were like this in alignment, and he was getting all kinds of information and energy from the Mitchell Hedges skull while Bill Holman was doing his presentation, and I was helping him with the slides. And then Portal de Luz was mirroring it back to me what was going on. So I remember that. That was pretty amazing. So I think the Mitchell Hedges skull, I would say, is a crystal skull that helps to facilitate tremendous personal growth and transformation with people. Or it could be a healing. It just depends. Everybody's different. So if you talk to people, they're all going to have different experiences that they had. So that's the best way I think I could summarize the several times I've been with that skull, how it's affected me and impacted me. And it's still the most powerful skull I've experienced so far that's in the physical.
That's amazing. The activation of the skulls. Are all of the skulls, do you think they have to be activated? Do they activate themselves? Like, from your perspective, how does that come to be? Like, how does that happen?
Okay, so the word activation to me means to wake the skull up and to have a living consciousness that's working through it. This is the way that I've experienced activated skulls.
Right.
So the process depends. If it's a crystal skull that's been with many civilizations in the past, like the Mitchell Hedges skull, then it was already activated by these people and these other civilizations from before. If it's a newly made skull, which I deal with quite a bit because I work with a carver in India right now who helps me to provide different types of skulls for people. And within this year, I've been very surprised how many people all of a sudden want to have their own skull or additional skulls. So this could be indirectly a sign that the role the crystal skulls are going to play to help humanity to have more peace on the planet, it's also getting activated too. But for a new skull in the activation process, this happens with the guardian, who becomes the guardian of the skull. Well, again, Portal de Luz, I'm going to show you, just to give an example. He started requesting for me to do certain things for him, sleep with him, meditate with him, take him to certain energy places that resonated for me. Then he said, "Oh, we should do private sessions for people." And I said, "But people," and this is back in 1999 is when I received him. People generally went to the guardians of these very old skulls, that, like the Mitchell Hedges skull, that had been with other civilizations, not new ones. But, I trusted him. So I went. I was offering a different kind of reading. Nobody else obviously had a crystal skull there. And I wound up having the most sessions and getting the most compliments, because what happened is, by him being present, not only was he sharing energies and helping the people, but he was making the energy in the space I was in, I guess, at a higher level. So it was easier for me to use my gifts. My two spiritual gifts are, I feel energy, so I can feel who is the person I'm reading, and I hear messages. So also too, if people have seen the class, you know that next to me on my right side is my wife who passed away in November, Katrina. So I hear her and I feel her. It's the same as happens in the sessions or with the skulls. So she may be making some comments while we're here. That would be how I would say the activation. It's a unique process. And if the person hears their personal skull, it will actually communicate the things that are necessary to bring it so it's more alive and activated.
That's really cool. And I just heard Katrina, she told me I'm doing great. So I appreciated that message from her.
Okay.
So when you talk about the guardians of the skull, do you think these are individual people's spirit guides that are working through the skull, or do you think that these are entities separate from people's spirit guides, if that makes sense?
First of all, when I speak about a guardian of a skull, I'm talking about a human being. Okay, that's the how I but but spirit guides also have a role to play too. Like, my guide sometimes might say, "You know what, Joshua? You should go out today to the beach, and you should take Portal de Luz there. He needs to be cleansed by the beautiful ocean of the water, and you might have an experience there." So, it's not just the crystal skull you're communicating, which is like a guide in itself, but there can be, any type of spirit guides. I mean, it could be people who've lived here before, like Katrina. I mean, she's obviously very aware of the skulls. When people ask me to activate the skulls that they acquire from me, I hold the skull in my right hand 2 or 3 times before I ship it. And I say, "Katrina, do your thing. Just give it the energy," or whatever. And she just walks right into me and does whatever. And then, once I feel like it's finished, then I'm done. But I think it's a collection of, a person's spiritual gifts, um, the consciousness in the skull, the spirit guides everything. Because for me, the highest purpose of the crystal skulls is, and this was what Ami, the first crystal skull that I met, which is an amethyst skull that's quite old, said to me, "We're returning to help humanity to create world peace." And so that's what I kind of feel like, when I go with my personal skulls, that they're trying to create a good energy every place we go, but also to, share good energies with all the people that they meet. And one of the things that's been very interesting for me is, like, there were some skulls that Katrina had, which I didn't feel a strong affinity for. In particular, she had 2 dragon skulls. And every time I take them out, people go crazy. And now I have new dragon skulls, just came from India, that are, they go like hotcakes as soon as I put them up. Within a day or two, somebody's going, "Yeah, that one's really speaking to me." So it's like, I don't even have to do anything. I just put it up, wait, somebody contacts me. I say, "Here's the price." We take care of it. And then if I activate it a week later, I send it out to them. And so it's a pretty simple process. So it's a very unusual experience. Okay, you just have to go with it, and obviously, a lot of these things related to the skulls providing for other people. Katrina used to do that. So now I'm kind of eased into it and I'm doing all of it myself, but I'm not finding it to be all that difficult. So, nobody's complained that's received a skull from me saying, "Oh, the energy of this one is terrible. What did you do?" No, they're all going, "Love it. It's great. It's fantastic." I did a meet and greet in Cocoa, Florida, which is by Cocoa Beach, and there was only one person that came, but that lady had chronic back pain, so she gave me a little crystal, put it on Portal de Luz, gave it to Katrina, and she reported back to me that the pain is totally gone. So it's like these kinds of things happen when you start working with the energies that are connected with the skull. So I'm never surprised anymore when somebody has a remarkable experience because I believe that ultimately the skulls are here to help humanity to remember who we truly are as divine children of God. So we have all our gifts and we can create a planet where there's total peace and harmony. We're dancing and singing in the street, hugging each other, whether we know each other or not, doesn't matter. We're all family. So to me, the crystal skulls kind of help to bring this out inside of us too.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I have really noticed that. I sell crystals too, and we do get skulls in. And what I've noticed with the skulls is they are very particular and they do tend to have their own personality. And I have had a few that I've wanted to keep. I'm like, "Ooh, you're mine." And they've said, "No, I'm for Monica or I'm for Greg or I'm for," and I'm like, "Ah, dang it." So they definitely do feel to me like they have a particular purpose and they're often looking for, I guess, maybe looking for their guardian.
One of the new skulls that came out of the ground is jumping up and down and says, "I'm waiting for Heather to claim me."
Oh, awesome. Hey, I'm open to a new skull.
Okay, so we'll work on this after the interview. I have pictures and video of all of them.
And you answered one of the questions I was going to ask about charging other crystals off of the skull, which you do, and I do find that they work really well for that as well. I am wondering, do you notice that most of the skulls that you work with, or the skulls that are maybe easier to activate, are quartz based?
Yeah, I would say so because, qu- well, Katrina's saying is I'm biased. I'm biased towards quartz. So for me, it's going to be easier with quartz. It it still depends upon the person because, like for example, we have one type of skull called Geronimo Juniors, which is based on Geronimo Golden Eagle Eye. One of my very dearest friends, a soul sister, she liked it, but she wanted black tourmaline. So I had to have the person I work with in India make her a black tourmaline skull, and she was happy with it, although I haven't talked to her yet. She's been very busy and moved, but she did send me a picture of her cat sitting on that skull. So obviously the energy must be really good because the animals are very sensitive to the energy of the skulls. So it's a personal thing which gemstone you resonate with. I think the quartz crystals may have a slight advantage because they're a transmitter and receiver of various vibrational frequencies. And I think it's a little bit easier for spirit guides and the galactics and the beings that are in the other dimensions to communicate and send energy through them. But again, it's a personal thing. So I would say for me, absolutely quartz. I always resonate with it much easier. There really isn't too many other gemstones that attract me. Maybe lapis lazuli is another one, but it's very tiny. It's like if somebody's going to offer me a skull, I want quartz. But Katrina's saying I'm biased, that this is just what works for me.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. So now I have some big pieces of quartz, just free form quartz that feel very powerful to me. Do you feel that same energy from just free form quartz versus the skulls? Have you encountered
Not for me, no.
not?
The skulls always are much more powerful. I mean, there are some crystals that were left by Katrina, which have been very powerful for me. I'm not saying that they're not powerful, but maybe it's because before I was born and in spirit, I said, okay, I'm going to work with crystal skulls. So it's the most powerful for me. But, again, I think it's a personal choice. And oh, yeah, that's right. Thank you. And she says the main reason why I have to say this is because some people do not like or are comfortable with the form of a skull. It's death, doom, and evil for them. That's how they've been programmed. Like there was one lady in Boston, the Boston area that we went to, and she could not look at the skull. I had to turn it around so its back was facing her, and then she got a healing. And after the healing, then she was okay. So it could be the shape of the skull could bother people. All right. So again, it's got to be a personal situation. What people are going to accept, what are they going to feel the most powerful from? Because everything is an experience and we're all unique. So, even each of us, we may have other people that have similar experiences, but there's not going to be anybody who's going to have every single experience that we do. Even if there are parallel Earths and other us's, our other us's are not exactly the same. They make different choices. They have different tastes. They have different experiences. Sometimes I see my other selves on the other world, and sometimes I wish I was them instead of me here because they're having a much better time and easier than I'm having, especially with this one lady I know that I just met here. Those two on the other world, they're already together and they're so happy. I keep telling her this, but you know, it's not this way here. So that's why you just have to go with the flow and just see what happens. I know I'm a crazy Aries, so
I don't think you're crazy at all. And I will say you're probably one of the most calm Aries I think I've met in a long time. So
well, thank you, but it's the crystal skulls. I think what happened is by being calm, because I can say this, we're in a crazy period of time right now, and a lot of people are struggling. If it wasn't for Katrina deciding to move on, everything in my life would be totally imbalanced, peaceful, wonderful. I don't really have any major challenges or pressure or everything. Even though I lost, let's say, the source of her income, I don't know. I have all this extra all of a sudden. So I just go day by day and try to enjoy it and, meet more what I call soul family here in the Orlando area. So this weekend I should be meeting some more. I'll be at the oldest bookstore doing a half hour meet and greet with the Crystal Skulls in preparation for a lecture I'm going to do there next month. So we'll see who shows up and who I meet and everything like that. So I have to have those new experiences or I go crazy. Like last Sunday, I went to the local library so I could play games with people, and that was just fun, something fun to do. If you're on a spiritual path, it can be very intense at times, but you also have to do things that you have fun and that you enjoy for balance. So this is what I work on. So for me, doing these kind of interviews is the most fun. It allows me to be my authentic self, and I'm constantly thinking about what's the most amazing things I can share and try to be a little bit of humorous too because even though the life is getting intense right now and people are shooting at our next president, some really good stuff is going to be coming out here soon. I believe I've had visions of that.
and I totally agree with that. I think there's a lot of beautiful things coming in. The energy is definitely shifting and it's going to be hard for a while. There's no doubt about that. And I do find a lot of comfort from crystals. That's why I love working with crystals. I also think they're very connected to the ley lines of the planet, and that can really help to charge and lift you up. So I find that really, really helpful. You've got your friend there.
Yeah, he starts saying, "Did you forget me?" I go, "No." Okay, so do you want me to show him, or you want to go with your next question?
So I have two skulls that I work with in my energy sessions, and I was wondering if your skull would like to charge these guys.
Yeah, he's doing it
And
right now. How do I know that? Because I feel the energy of them in your hand. this is my gift. So he's
Thank you
going
so
in.
much. I can feel it. My hands are buzzing.
Do you feel
And
some heat too?
yep, I'm feeling heat. My hands are buzzing.
He's heating up, which is a healing energy. So there's something he's sending through your skulls to help you. I don't know what this situation is because I can't focus when I do the interview. So if we do a session, private session, I can get more, and he can be sitting with me. So anyway, this is Portal de Luz, Portal of Light. He came in 1999. He was a gift from my Brazilian wife. I've had 4 wives now. Katrina was the 4th. And Spirit tells me there will be a 5th because of my spiritual center that you mentioned. There has to be a man and a woman in the top of the organization. I can't do it myself. But there's nothing I can do about when whoever this person is or when it's going to show up or anything. So he was done by a Brazilian carver in Minas Gerais is the name of the state where they have a lot of crystal. And he was gifted to me, like I said, by Vera, who is my second wife. She was Brazilian. And I found out that I have a strong connection with Brazil. So naturally, the co-creator of my soul family group here, Luciana, is Brazilian. So I will practice my Portuguese with her. And she says she understands me. So I can only speak in the present. But anyway, and also he adores her. So I tell her every time, like I had a picture taken, we visited with some friends, and there was a picture taken with her where she was holding it. And you can just feel how totally calm and peaceful the energy is between her and I and Portal de Luz. So he's faked out a Mayan elder who I won't say by name, that he was an older skull because of the energies that he's recorded. So he's made out of smoky quartz, and he's been with me since 1999. So I can only hold him for a little while because he's 10 pounds. And plus, he's doing all kinds of energy things right now, so he's getting heavier. I didn't tell you to do that, did I? Okay. Apparently, he's sending out energy to the people who are going to watch this interview. So, because he knows he can only be up for a little while.
I love that. And I can definitely feel it in my heart. My higher heart chakra is where I'm really feeling that energy.
Okay. Yeah, he has some messages for you, and we do our session.
Okay, that's fantastic. I look forward to that.
Me too. I always like those sessions. Okay.
That skull there is so does he have Mayan descent? Is he connected with the Mayan culture?
When I first received him was at a Crystal Skull Conference in Sedona in 1999. Okay. The people who had a booth next to my booth with Vera had the skull, and Vera felt inspired because she's still doing like spiritual tours, but she did a spiritual tour to Peru. She did very well, so she purchased the skull. Okay, so what happened at that conference was the Mayan priest that I met in Holland, who Portal de Luz faked out. I met some of his priests at that conference, and they did a Mayan sunrise ceremony. And there was a crystal skull, which is very old, that was sitting next to him from Jokie van Dieten, who is a Dutch lady that started getting all these skulls that I met, and we became very close. So her crystal skull called the T was sitting next to Portal de Luz. So as Portal de Luz is coming to me and being activated in the ceremony, activated by the energies of the vortexes of Sedona, being in the presence with other skulls and everything. So he got exposed to a Mayan sunrise ceremony. So of course he's going to start to receive some part of that. So maybe this is part of the reason why the Mayan elder was confused, but I think it was because of all the energies that I've picked up with him, because it's like, wherever I'm taking him, high energy vortexes, crop circles, I've taken him to. He's been on the steps of a pyramid in Mexico. How many people have had private sessions with him? I have no clue. How many world peace meditations have we done together? I have no clue. Okay, so all of these things build up the energy. He was in Amaru Maru, which is the gigantic stone door by Lake Titicaca in Peru. And I dropped him. This is the only time I dropped him, and there was a crack in the back of his head, and then it went away. So something shifted with him while we were there. And he just keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger. So, like, there's people that talk about, well, there's guardians who have these very old ancient skulls that are very powerful. I wouldn't trade Portal de Luz for any of them because we just have this amazing relationship that we've created and worked together. So, and he just says, I'm just an example for other people of my entire family. What could happen if you get a crystal skull, even if it's new? It still can expand and have tremendous energies with it, depending upon how you work with it, how you activate it. Also, in your DNA, a lot of us have in our DNA from past lives, we worked with the skull, so we have some kind of encoding with that. So I'm pretty sure that that's true for me because, when I think about how fast this all happened, when I started to meet Ami, the amethyst skull in 1983, and then all these things that have happened since that point in time, it's like, when is it going to end? It just keeps going on, all different kind of new experiences. And, now I'm looking forward to co-create with other Crystal Skull Guardians special events or through my center when it happens, which we probably don't have time to talk about this, but I'll just say this under my breath. When the new financial system comes and then I'm able to start building it, then there's all these projects I see in my mind's eye to do with the crystal skulls through the Center for the Advancement of Humanity. Because we'll have like a department for that. That'll be one of the things that'll make our center a little bit different from other ones. So, besides the fact that when you come into our center, since everybody is going to be doing what they love to do, what makes their heart sing, you're never going to want to leave because the energy there is going to be unbelievable. So I already feel and see it. I just don't know where the building's going to be. Where here in Florida is it going to be set up? Who am I going to hire? So I'm kind of waiting for that, but it's coming pretty soon, I feel. Spirit won't let me leave Florida. They say, Joshua, you shouldn't leave Florida until you get that set up first. Okay, just stay there, keep meeting soul family, keep doing what you're doing, and then eventually that part will start, and then you can go into your more advanced projects.